A lot to do here on a special edition of Hacker After Dark. The Tennessee Titans, what are they doing in Nashville? They're already resting or not playing a dozen or so players, and now we've come to find out that Josh Dobbs, that Josh Dobbs, the former Jaguar, a guy that's been on the Titans roster for less than 2 weeks, is going to start tonight for Tennessee as they have essentially benched rookie quarterback Malik Willis. What does that mean moving forward? Well, more on that in a moment. But we'll go to Nashville. Mickey Ryan, 104.5 The Zone up in Nashville. He's also part of the Titans radio network. We'll preview Tennessee and Dallas, kind of get their thoughts on the AFC Championship game, which is now 10 days out. What are they saying up in Nashville? Mickey Ryan coming up later on in the program. The Jaguars have a little piece of business before then. Obviously, Jacksonville and Houston on Sunday. Aaron Wilson, who's covered the NFL for many, many years. He's now based out in Houston. He will come on to give us the Texans side of the Jaguars and the Texans matchup. That is less than 20 minutes away. In the 3 o'clock hour, Florida State plays today in the Cheez-It Bowl down in Orlando as they look for a 10-win season as they take on the Oklahoma Sooners. Kurt Weiler of the Osceola, that is the Rivals.com website covering Florida State. He is in Orlando. He will join us coming up in about an hour's time. And at the bottom of the 3 o'clock hour, my friend Vic Carucci, longtime NFL writer. You hear him now on Sirius XM NFL Radio. We'll talk Trevor Lawrence. We'll talk Doug Peterson. We'll talk Jags and Titans and how he sees the next 10 days playing out. That's Vic Carucci coming up later on in the 3 o'clock hour. But glad you're with us on a Thursday. As always, on Hacker After Dark, we kick it off with a big deal, dare we say, of the afternoon, and Dylan Denmark. Let's do that right now.
Time now for the big deal of the night.
What's the big deal?
What is the big deal?
No big deal. It is a big deal.
On Hacker After Dark.
So we have kind of a 50-50 split. We got two big deals that I want to get into as we kick it off here on a special edition of Hacker After Dark. Number one, the Tennessee Titans. They play tonight against the Dallas Cowboys. Cowboys need the game to keep their NFC East hopes alive. Tennessee does not need this game, and they are showing that with their actions. For Tennessee, it is all about preparing for Jacksonville a week from Sunday. They are sitting a dozen or so players, and within the last hour, they have come out and said Malik Willis will not be the starting quarterback. It will be Josh Dobbs, who, as we mentioned, has been on the Titans roster for less than 2 weeks. Now, let's think about this logically for a second. You're going to throw Josh Dobbs out there without Derrick Henry, who's likely not to play tonight, without anything resembling your starting offensive line, most of whom are injured and not playing tonight. What can Josh Dobbs really do? Are they worried about an injury to Malik Willis? Is that their concern and they're resting Malik Willis? Or is this a flat-out benching? On the surface, it appears to be a flat-out benching. And if that's the case, then what do we expect when Tennessee comes into Jacksonville for the AFC South Championship game a week from Sunday? Ryan Tannehill, and I'm going to ask Mickey Ryan up in Nashville about this later on here in the 2 o'clock hour. Is it realistic at all to think or assume that Ryan Tannehill will be able to play against the Jaguars? All indications are he will not be able to play. High ankle sprain, he had surgery on it. He had the Tua surgery, right? Tua had the same thing when he was at Alabama to try to speed up the recovery from a high ankle. But to think Ryan Tannehill will be ready to play 10 days from now, to me, is very far-fetched. So if you're going to be without Ryan Tannehill, you got to come to Jacksonville, you got to win the game. You've benched your third-round rookie tonight. What kind of message is that? And now you're going with Josh Dobbs. What is Tennessee doing? It is an amazing situation up there. Mike Vrabel, is handling this completely different than Doug Peterson here in Jacksonville. Doug Peterson yesterday said that, no, it's full steam ahead. The Jaguars are playing their guys against Houston. I said last night on Hacker After Dark, because Trayvon Walker and because Foley Fatukasi are once again on the injury report for the third consecutive week, both guys have missed the last couple of ball games, I would not play Walker and I would not play Fatukasi against Houston. I need those two as healthy as humanly possible for that Tennessee game on January 8th. Particularly now with DeJuan Smoot being out, you got to have Walker and you got to have Fatukasi. And if that means sitting them out against Houston, giving them that extra week of rest, that's fine, as long as they're ready to go for the AFC South Championship game. I would also consider sending out Brandon Scherff, but I don't believe the Jaguars are going to do that, because if you're going to play Trevor Lawrence, you want your starting offensive line in there. Scherff's had an abdomen injury the last couple of weeks that he's played through. He had that nasty-looking ankle injury in New York that he came back from and finished the game, but Brandon Scherff showed up on the injury report yesterday, limited in practice with an abdomen and an ankle. In a perfect world, you sit him out to get an extra week of rest, but I get it. If you're going to play Trevor, you want your best offensive lineman out there. So, to me, the only realistic scenario, if you're going to rest anybody, if you've decided you're going to move forward and play your guys, and you might sit a couple of guys with some nagging issues, to me that's Fatukasi and that's Walker. Sit them out against Houston, have them ready for Tennessee. So Peterson's playing his guys. Vrabel is not. Now, Mike Vrabel is a former NFL Coach of the Year. The guy obviously knows what he's doing. Doug Peterson has won a Super Bowl. He obviously knows what he is doing. But it's two very different approaches to the division championship game next Sunday. Mike Vrabel sitting guys, Doug Peterson playing guys. Which will work out? We'll have to wait until next Sunday to see what happens. So more on the Titans and the Cowboys and exactly what is going on up in Nashville. Mickey Ryan, 104.5 The Zone in Nashville, later on in the 2 o'clock hour. Florida State, later on this afternoon in Orlando against Oklahoma, looking for their 10th win of the year. Raise your hand, not if you're driving, but if you're in an office or your house, somewhere where you can raise your hand safely. Raise your hand if you thought Florida State, back on August the 20th, would be going for 10 wins this season. I imagine not many hands are being raised in Jacksonville, Florida. What an amazing job by Mike Norvell. What an amazing job by that coaching staff, by Jordan Travis, by everybody involved with that football program. Mike Norvell did not win ACC Coach of the Year. He should have. I know Elko did a good job at Duke. He didn't do the job Mike Norvell did. People thought Florida State was a dumpster fire coming into this year. I was guilty of it. Most of you were too. Will Mike Norvell be on the hot seat? Will he lose his job if they don't go to a bowl game for a third consecutive year? That was the talking point coming into this season in Tallahassee. All Florida State did is absolutely beat to death Miami. Just beat Miami to a pulp. Put 45 on the Canes. Also put 45 on the Gators. Florida State controlled the state of Florida this year on the field. Beating Hurricanes, beating Gators, putting 90 points combined on them. Good grief. Jordan Travis, one of the most improved players in the country. Boy, and what Mike Norvell did in the transfer portal last year, with Johnny Wilson, with Pittman, with Jared Verse, just to name a few. And you know what? He's doing it again. Do you know these recruiting websites, Rivals, 24/7, On3, they now have transfer portal rankings to go along with their recruiting rankings. And right now, Mike Norvell and Florida State, number one again in the transfer portal. They've brought in about 3 or 4 guys already that will start for them in 2023. Jaheim Bell, tight end, South Carolina. He's a good player. They brought in a defensive lineman from Western Michigan, one of the best interior defensive linemen in the country in the transfer portal. They brought in a couple of offensive linemen, that were coveted by USC, Notre Dame. Both of them chose Florida State. What Mike Norvell is doing in the portal, people need to take notes on. Billy Napier. You see what Mike Norvell is doing in the portal? Why can't you do that? Because Florida State is getting great players out of the portal. And by the way, Florida State, a lot of their guys that could go pro are coming back. Jordan Travis coming back. He's just one of several that have already announced their intention to come back for 2023. Florida State's going to be a preseason top 15 team. Maybe preseason top 10 coming into 2023. And they're going to win their 10th game of the year tonight after they absolutely destroy Oklahoma. So college football has a very quick way of changing the narrative. And boy, in the last 3 to 4 months, my goodness, how the narrative has been changed in Tallahassee. They went from hot seat, dumpster fire, is he the right guy for the job, to now he should have been coach of the year. They're going to be preseason top 10 in 2023. They're absolutely cleaning up again in the portal, and they're going to be a 10-win football team this year. So say what you will about Mike Norvell in the past, tip your cap to him right now. Because Florida State is the state champion, and they're going to win their 10th game of the year. Kurt Weiler of the Osceola, that is the Rivals.com website that covers Florida State. He's in Orlando getting ready for the Cheez-It Bowl. He's going to join us in the 3 o'clock hour to not only set the scene for the game this afternoon, but what does the future hold? Guys coming back, the portal, how will this team look in 2023? We'll talk with Kurt Weiler about all that coming up in just a bit. So as you can tell, we are very busy. NFL talk, college football talk, and the Jaguars-Texans. Jacksonville goes to Houston on Sunday. They have not beaten the Texans since opening day of 2017. Opening day since 2017. That was the Calais Campbell game. Remember the 3-sack game and Campbell's debut here in Jacksonville? That's as far back as you got to go. That was Deshaun Watson's first ever game in the National Football League. You got to go back a long, long time to when the Jaguars beat Houston. 9 wins in a row for the Texans, including beating Jacksonville here in Week 5, 13-6. Obviously, the Jaguar team is a lot different now than what it once was. In Week 5, the Jaguars had Zay Jones catching 2 passes for 12 yards. I'm sorry, 3 passes for 12 yards. And Christian Kirk caught 1 pass for 11. I'm going to go out on a limb here, and I'm going to tell you that I feel very confident that Zay Jones and Christian Kirk combined on Sunday will have more than 4 catches for 24 yards. It is a different Jaguar team. It is a chance for Trevor Lawrence to right one of his wrongs. He'll tell you the 2 games he wants back Houston, and he wants back Denver and London. Well, you can't do anything about Denver. You don't play them again. But you get a second chance at Houston. You get a chance for redemption against the Texans. And we'll see if Trevor Lawrence takes advantage of that. We'll go to Aaron Wilson, longtime reporter for the National Football League, has worked for many different outlets. He's now based in Houston, Texas, and he will join us to give us the Texan side of this matchup coming up in just a bit. But it is the giving season. Christmas has come and gone, but we're on the cusp of the new year. We're givers here on 1010XL, 92.5 FM. Hacker After Dark, a special edition of Hacker After Dark. It's what we do. And right now, if you want to go see Todd Golden in Gator basketball, boy, they had a tough one last night, almost pulling off a big upset over Auburn. They let it get away there in the final moments, but they played hard. They played Texas A&M. Denmark, what is that, the 4th day of January in Gainesville?
I believe that's correct.
January 4th, Florida, Texas A&M in Gainesville. If you want to go, we got a pair of tickets for you right now at 641-1010. Be caller number 4. And 1010XL will send you to Gainesville for Florida, Texas A&M hoops coming up in the first week of January. More on the NFL, more on the Jags-Texans. Aaron Wilson out in Houston next on Hacker After Dark.
The Frangie Show, live from the Hastings Injury Law Firm Studios on 1010XL. Hit back with Hastings.
They start with the Jags and take you around the NFL. Join Mike Dempsey, Fat Tony, and E.T. on Jaguars Today.
From the Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute Studios.
Jaguars Today, every weekday from 10 to noon on 1010XL.
Baloo here for Spunez Vision. Why Spunez Vision? Well, I've been with Dr. Neil Spunez now since I got back to Jacksonville in 2006. 37 years of experience he has. Spunez Vision is a family organization that focuses on personal high-quality medical and surgical eye care. Dr. Catherine Spunez is fellowship-trained in cornea and cataract surgery and all refractive surgery. Combined, that's 30 years plus in laser eye surgery. Visit SpunezVision.com today. Here you can see.
Garrett Scantling here, sports fans. I'm still feeling great from the treatment and care I received from Dr. Acevedo and Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, where you're treated like a pro.
This is Dr. George Acevedo. Thanks to Garrett Scantling for those nice words. And if you have foot and ankle issues, visit Southeast Orthopedic Specialists today.
Relieve pain and get back to life. SOS. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
If you have questions about personal injury, log on to farahandfarah.com. Click for live help. We've got answers 24/7, 365. Jacksonville.
Want to kick off the new year without any credit card debt? Sure you do. You can do it with Loan Pronto's Express Equity Line of Credit. Wipe out all those credit cards now. Prosser here. Rates are down, and this is a great move to get on more solid financial footing for the new year. You don't have to do a full home refi. You can tap a portion of the equity you have and enjoy a rate that's a whole lot less than what the banks charge on credit cards. With Loan Pronto's Express Equity Credit Line, you can close in 7 to 10 days. You can access up to 95% of your home's equity. Use that money. Pay off high-interest loans of any kind, credit cards, personal loans, car loans, whatever. Consolidate everything into one easy payment. Even if you did a total refi last year, you can tap the equity with this fast, easy program and keep your main loan intact. So call Loan Pronto now, 904-999-1508. That's 904-999-1508. Also go to loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval.
This is Dr. Kevin Murphy with Southeast Orthopedic Specialists congratulating Taylor Sweat, senior soccer player at Fletcher High. Taylor was the Times Union Senior Soccer Player of the Year in 2022 and is a member of the National Honor Society. Congratulations, Taylor.
To be our best selves, we need to take care of our whole self. That includes your spirit, mind, and your body. At the First Coast YMCA, our members find balance in spirit, mind, and body with unlimited group exercise classes, adult sports leagues, health coaching, and programs designed for chronic disease prevention. And if you join the Y now, you'll pay nothing until February. Discover all the benefits of a Y membership and find your Y at fcymca.org.
It's the holiday savings event going on now at Renewal by Andersen. For a limited time, get $300 off your windows and $825 off patio doors. Plus, no money down, no payments, and no interest for 12 months. This offer expires December 31st, and restrictions apply. Renewal by Andersen, the official window and door replacement partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Visit rbafla.com and call now.
License number CGC 1527613.
This is Keith Catlin for Catlin Truck Accessories, and we are so blessed to be in business for over 100 years. Over 100 years of the best product and customer service means you can count on Catlin. From Roll-and Lock bed covers to Lear toppers to cam locker toolboxes, Catlin Truck Accessories has you covered when it comes to your truck or van. We do those too. Got a fleet of vehicles? We can outfit them all.
Who can you count on? Count on Catlin.
One name, one location, 100 years. You can count on Catlin.
Dave Benyon here with Zero Res. Did you know that Zero Res does an excellent job of cleaning commercial carpet? We clean hundreds of businesses and churches all over town. If your carpet is due for a good cleaning, give Zero Res a call. For 1 week only, December 26th through the 31st, we are offering 20% off on all commercial carpet cleaning. We will be glad to come do a free estimate. Give us a call and take advantage of this great deal during the Christmas break. That's 20% off on all commercial carpet cleaning. Zero Res spelled forward or backwards, it's the right way to clean.
Who was the first baseball player to appear on a Wheaties box?
Having the right homeowner's policy protection means you're staying on top of your most valuable possession, your home. For information on finding an agent, go to southernoak.com.
Our family protecting yours, Southern Oak Insurance.
Lou Gehrig was the very first baseball player and athlete, for that matter, to appear on a Wheaties box in 1934.
Southern Oak Insurance, our family protecting yours.
Mark Watson for Hardball Creative, letting you know that Hardball has cooler promotions, but some people call them ice chests. Either way, check out the items you can put your company logo on at hardballcreative.com.
Hardball Creative. Hardball does it all.
This 1010XL 92.5 FM hour is powered by Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733. Hacker After Dark on 1010XL. Now, another interview on the Farah and Farah phone line. Brought to you by the Accident Attorneys at Farah and Farah.
Back here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville. We are glad you are with us. The Jaguars and the Texans, Sunday, 1 o'clock. Of course, you'll hear it right here on 1010XL as the Jaguars look to break a 9-game losing streak to the Houston Texans and get ready for an AFC South championship game a week from Sunday against the Tennessee Titans. Aaron Wilson has covered the NFL for many years. He's now with KPRC Television in the Houston area, and he's always kind enough to join us here on 1010XL. Aaron, how we doing?
Great, how are you?
Aaron, we're good, man. Thank you for the time. Boy, let's start right there. A 9-game winning streak for the Texans. I know you were at the Lovie Smith press conference earlier this week. He talked about that. It's an anomaly, Aaron. I mean, the Jaguars and the Texans have been very even, but boy, Houston has found a way to win 9 games in a row in this series.
Yeah, it's hard to explain, but a lot of it's sort of a combination of, at times Jacksonville hasn't been very good, and times they've had some injuries, and there have been other times where their quarterbacks were earlier in their development, meaning Trevor Lawrence, and sometimes the Texans have played some good football games against Jacksonville, and I don't think there's any real common thread to all of the wins, but it's a really long winning streak. And if I'm the Jaguars, I'd be pretty determined to beat the Texans at this point after losing so many times in a row to a team that's 2-12-1. So I think for the Jaguars to not be able to win this game.
Well, what's interesting about Houston, 2-12-1, yet they tie Indianapolis. They go into Nashville and beat the Titans. They come to Jacksonville earlier this year, and they beat the Jaguars. I mean, Houston has the opportunity to win 4 division games this year.
They're not as bad as their record, Ryan, but they have lost 5 one-score games, including Dallas and Kansas City in recent weeks. So there's been a lot of games I feel like they should have won, but they just didn't get it done. And they do play hard. There's a lot of buy-in from the players and some pride. And there's a few talented players. They're missing a guy, though, that really greatly impacted the first game. That was Dameon Pierce, their rookie running back. He's on injured reserve, and, we'll see him next season.
Aaron Wilson, KPRC Television in Houston, here with us on 1010XL. Aaron, is there a concern out there that winning a couple of games here at the end may cost Houston the number 1 pick in the draft?
From fans and some members of the media that seem like they act like it's their draft pick, not the franchises. I'm not among that group. I think they should try to win. I think you should always try to win. I don't see any downside. I don't think these players are that good or that generational that if you're a 2 instead of 1, that it's that big a deal. I don't think the Chicago Bears are going to draft a quarterback. They've got Justin Fields. So, if you're picking at 2, you could still get without even having to trade, you can still get the quarterback. If somebody leapfrogs you for one quarterback, there's other quarterbacks. It's not like it's a one quarterback draft. There's a lot of quarterbacks in this draft.
Aaron, what is the thought on Davis Mills moving forward?
You mean in terms of next season, or just like what kind of quarterback he is, like what level he's at?
Is he in the future plans in any capacity out there?
Sure. I mean, he would probably be the starting quarterback in the off season. I would think that he would be the backup here, and they would keep him, on the roster if they do have a rookie starter. I think eventually, you would see him, I would say, give away, but, that's always, I would say, kind of you don't know what's going to happen, the development, all of those things. So for me to sit here and say right now, not even knowing who's going to be on the team, what level they'll be at, for me to say accurately, I'm sure it'll go this certain way, that's not really, it doesn't make a lot of sense. But what I expect, what I project, is that eventually he'll be replaced. Yeah.
Couple of more for Aaron Wilson, KPRC Television in Houston. Aaron, it looks like the young guys are really stepping up. I watched Christian Harris last week have a big game against Tennessee. You mentioned Dameon Pierce before the injury with Cleveland struggles. They're going to have some high draft capital again. This might not be a quick rebuild, but I think they're going to have some pieces in place here in Houston sooner rather than later.
Right, yeah. I mean, they had a pretty good draft. Derek Stingley Jr., who's also an injured reserve and had the interception against the Jaguars, helped them win that game. They have Jalen Petrie. They have Christian Harris. Christian and Petrie both had interceptions against the Titans. I think there's some talent here. Kenyon Green's got to play better, but he's had some ups and downs this season. But, he's still a talented young player. He's only 21 years old, so he's got some growing to do as just a younger guy that's still learning how to play in the NFL. I would say they have some pieces. There's some other young players like John Grenard and Obo Okoronkwo. And you look around, in the secondary, there's, some talent. I think the secondary is pretty good. They have two good offensive tackles, and Larry Tunsil is one of the best in my book and a lot of people's book, and Titus Howard, real physical right tackle.
Aaron, I've told you this in the past. You do as good a job as any national NFL media type covering the AFC South than anybody, and you've had a lot of experience, and I really do mean that. And so I'm curious, just your reaction to what's happened here in Jacksonville over the last 6 weeks.
Well, they've engineered a real turnaround. What they've done is impressive. It's impeccable. And a lot of it I would attribute to Doug Peterson, his leadership and the things he's done and the systems he's put in. I think he's done an outstanding job. And, there's a lot of respect for Doug around the NFL. And, Doug is a Super Bowl winning coach. And I don't think it's easy to work for the Eagles. I think Roseman and Lurie don't make it very easy on a coach. And, he had some things that he believed in strongly. And I would say that led to him being out of Philly as much as anything, just kind of like, what he wanted, the kind of working conditions he wanted to be under. And in Jacksonville, I think he's got a very coach-friendly owner. You do what you're supposed to do and you're winning and you're on top of it the way he is, then Shad Khan, Tony Khan, those are good guys to work for.
Doug Peterson obviously had a great quarterback, or a potentially great quarterback, to mold here in Trevor Lawrence. In the London game, we always look back to the London game, how bad he was against Denver. He'll even admit that. And Aaron, since that point, around Halloween, you could argue Trevor's been among the top 10, maybe even top 5 quarterbacks in the league. I mean, what a transformation for Trevor over the last 8 weeks.
Right. I mean, Trevor always can make all the throws. He's got a lot of tools. He's been well coached. He's very fundamentally sound. I think he just needed to stop thinking so much and just let it go, cut it loose, and play more instinctively. And, same goes for a lot of these young quarterbacks like Davis Mills. Davis Mills, coming off a good fourth quarter, was 9 for 9, 103 yards, and game-winning touchdown. And how does that happen? Well, it takes time for them to have the muscle memory, for them to feel confident and for them to kind of get out of their own head and get out of their own way. And the process is different for every young quarterback. But the only real way to learn is to be out there doing it and to fail some. You have to fail before you're going to succeed.
Aaron Wilson, KPRC in Houston. Aaron, as we begin to wrap up, how is this game in Houston on Sunday being viewed by the Texans? The Jaguars are in the unique spot where no game is meaningless in the regular season, yet, let's be honest, everybody's talking about the AFC title game in Week 18, yet the Jaguars have to go out to Houston here in Week 17. What's the thought in Texan circles about the Jaguars coming in on Sunday?
I mean, they're expecting the Jaguars to try to win. They don't think the Jaguars are going to rest people. Doug Peterson said that. He's on the record. I believe him. I think that you try to keep the momentum going, and I don't think that intentionally losing or trying to win with anything less than your best effort is a good idea for the Jaguars. So my expectation is going to be they go for it, and that's what the Texans think is going to happen. But Texans are feeling a little confident lately. They're playing some better football. They're boosted a bit by good performances against Kansas City and Dallas, and they're still a team that's hungry. They finally won a game. They'd like to win another game. That's the approach. That's what they think.
Aaron, final question. I've been warning people all week. I'll continue warning people here in Jacksonville all of next week. Tennessee, I know they look down. I know they're injured. I know they're banged up. It does not look good. Mike Vrabel, Derrick Henry, there's something about that team, something about that logo. They got a voodoo over the Jacksonville Jaguars going back all the way to the 99 AFC title game. That is not going to be easy a week from Sunday, and I hope the Jaguar fans that are listening realize that Tennessee is the AFC South champion until they're not. The Jaguars are going to have to play their A game at home next Sunday to win the division.
And I agree they'll have to tackle Derrick Henry. The biggest problem they have right now is quarterback. Malik Willis is just not playing very good football. He was deficient against the Texans. That's why they lost the football game for the most part.
Well, we'll see what happens. The Jaguars are one home win away from one of the better NFL comebacks from 3-7, 6 weeks ago to potentially winning the AFC South. Aaron, know you're busy this time of year, man. Thank you for the time. Have a happy new year. We'll talk again in 2023.
All right, very good. Talk to you soon.
Always appreciate Aaron Wilson out there in Houston for joining us. And again, if you just missed it, Malik Willis apparently has been benched by head coach Mike Vrabel and the Tennessee Titans. Joshua Dobbs, who was here in Jacksonville, right? Remember him from his days at the University of Tennessee, was here in Jacksonville for a couple of cups of coffee, and he gets picked up by the Titans about 2 weeks ago, and bam, in the starting lineup. And when you think about it, obviously this appears on the surface that they've given up on Malik Willis this year. Why would you bench a third-round rookie before a game like this? I mean, you want to get him as much work as you can leading into next Sunday. So to me, this is a situation where you see what Dobbs has tonight. If he's any good, you put him back out there against Jacksonville. All indications are Ryan Tannehill with the high ankle, even though he had the surgery, will not be ready to go next Sunday. I keep hearing how tough Ryan Tannehill is. There's tough, there's stupid, and then there's ridiculous. You can be tough, and I don't doubt Ryan Tannehill's tough. To put him out there 2.5 weeks after high ankle surgery is stupid and ridiculous. And I just can't imagine a scenario where he would be cleared by medical personnel to be able to do that. So we'll see what happens with the Titans at the quarterback position, but not where Tennessee would want to be heading into the AFC South title game 1 week from Sunday. Well, more on the NFL, more on the Jaguars, more on the Titans in just a bit. But Denmark, we got some sad news to pass along.
This just in on Hacker After Dark.
You know, you don't have to be a big soccer fan or football and other parts of the world. You don't have to be the biggest fan to know the name Pele. One of, if not the best soccer players that has ever lived. 82 years old in Brazil, just a legend, an absolute legend in the world of international football, has sadly passed away today at the age of 82. You just look at the numbers that Pele put up The guy scored 12 goals in World Cup competition. 12. To put that in some perspective, I mean, if you score 5 goals, you are a legend in your home country in World Cup competition. Pele's got 12 all-time World Cup goals in World Cup finals. He's an amazing player. He was an amazing ambassador for the game. Again, even if you're not a soccer fan, odds are you know the name Pele. And prayers up for his family and his friends as he has unfortunately succumbed to his illness earlier this afternoon. 82 years old. Pele, one of the best to ever do it in the world of international football. And may he rest in peace. Not an easy transition from that, but we're here to talk sports here on Hacker After Dark, a special edition of Hacker After Dark. We're in for the Frangie Show, and we certainly appreciate you hanging out with us here on a Thursday afternoon in Jacksonville, Florida. Tonight in Nashville, the Cowboys, the Titans. We'll see what Tennessee has. They are resting a lot of guys heading into next Sunday's AFC South Championship game here in Jacksonville. Let's go to Nashville, Tennessee. Mickey Ryan, 104.5 The Zone in Nashville. What is the thought about the Titans' chances going into next Sunday? What's the thought on Mike Vrabel resting so many of his players tonight against Dallas to get ready for that game here against Jacksonville? We'll talk Titans. It's going to be a big topic in a very short amount of time. We'll jump the gun next with Mickey Ryan up in Nashville. It's Hacker After Dark, a special edition here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
The Frangie Show, live from the Hastings Injury Law Firm Studios on 1010XL. Hit back with Hastings.
To play good football, meaningful football at the end of the season.
Quarterback sneak dives toward the end zone, touchdown!
Every game's a must-win for us, and that's how we're treating it.
How about that? The Jaguars' Trey Herndon. The ball was fumbled. He caught it in midair.
They stick together. They hang together. They encourage one another.
We have something special here.
It's just a sign of our team coming together at the right time.
Next up,
we still got 2 games left. We got 2 division games.
The Houston Texans.
Love the momentum, the energy we have right now.
Sunday at 1.
We want to win.
On 1010XL. Home of the Jaguars.
Exciting news from Woody's Barbecue. Backed by overwhelming demand, Woody's presents their all-you-can-eat chicken special every Sunday with all the trimmings and just $12.49.
At Woody's Barbecue, it's what we do.
Let's eat. I'm Ellie Anajar of Anajar & Levine. Injured in a car crash? Never rush to settle with insurance companies and never settle for just any attorney. Demand Anajar & Levine. Our experienced legal team will fight to win you the maximum compensation you deserve. Call me, Ellie Anajar, for a free consultation and take back control of your life. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
Main office, Jacksonville.
Hey, folks, are you looking for that perfect truck or SUV? Well, I got news. Nimnick Buick GMC on Phillips Highway now has more models on the ground than they have had in over a year. Now, you know Nimnick always stocks so much inventory. Well, now it is better than ever. Truckloads of new Buicks and GMCs. All models. And by the way, no one's ever going to pay over MSRP at Nimnick Buick GMC. No one. So now you've got that great selection over there. There's 2 ways to check it out. You can go by that showroom. It's on Phillips Highway, just south of I-295. Or reserve yours today by going online and see what they have at nimnickbuickgmc.com. Now's the time to head there because if you want that truck or SUV, nobody's got more stuff than Nimnick. Head there today. Nimnick, your friends in the car business since 1941. At GMC, we are professional grade.
Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if a prescription is appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for full details and important safety information. Subscription required.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 90% cheaper? And you can get it online? Go to 4hims.com/joy. At Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation and discreet shipping if prescribed. You'll love your results. To start your free online visit, go to 4hims.com/joy. That's FORHIMS.com/JOY.
A lot of companies will tell you they're the best. At Custom Tree Surgeons, they show you. every time. Custom Tree Surgeons has built an all-pro team. Every tree service professional has years of experience, continually trained and certified. They know what, when, and how to handle any job. It gets done efficiently and quickly by a team of experts. So for tree trimming, removal, stump grinding, and emergency services, forget any name other than Custom Tree Surgeons. There is no job they can't do better. Go to website CustomTreeSurgeons.com. That's CustomTreeSurgeons.com, and let them show you how the job is supposed to get done.
Jersey girl, Mia O'Brien here, and I don't have time for gym tanning and laundry. I'm too busy spreading sports cheer on XL Primetime and Helmets and Heels. Then there's the 1010XL video and social media channels. All Things Mia is driven by Arlington Toyota.
When all you have is a hammer, everything is a nail. I'm Dr. George Bari, and like me, I know you have been bombarded with PRP and stem cell treatments from companies that promise the world and charge prices to match. Or the surgeon that convinced you the only way to treat your injuries through surgery. At Bari Orthopedics, we offer the best PRP treatment on the market with prices that won't cost you an arm and a leg. We also have the expertise to treat your injury surgically if that is what it entails. We can discuss all surgical and non-surgical options with you and make sure you get the best treatment available. Come see me, Dr. George Bari at Bari Orthopedics.
Backed up clogged drains stink, but Duck Duck Rooter can have you flowing again today for a discounted price of only $119. Some restrictions apply. Call to schedule 904-862-6769. That's 904-862-6769.
Bud Light and everyone at Anheuser-Busch want to remind you to get home safely every time. People are counting on you, on the road and at home. Plan ahead with safe rides, and don't forget to hydrate between beers. Bud Light encourages everyone to enjoy responsibly and socialize safely.
ITP Partners, the official financial firm for the station to beat inflation.
Whoa, Dan. People don't want to joke about their money, not during these tough times.
You mean they'd rather hear about how ITP Partners takes our money and makes us more money?
Now you're talking. They make financial planning simple and easy to understand, even for a couple of slappies like us.
Those guys have been serving Hickets for 3 generations. Junie bugged me. I even got my son Drew being smart with his money in his 20s.
It's never too early to talk with Chris Bryan, Dan Abel, Brian Wright, Reagan Wright, Jeff Hartman, and Craig Ross.
Financial questions, ideas, or thoughts, email chris@itbpartners.com.
The 2023 First Tee North Florida Tour Card is your ticket to some of the best golf courses in North Florida.
Each tour card is only $99 and directly contributes to programs for
kids like us that build character,
instill life-enhancing values,
and promote healthy choices through the game of golf.
Tour card members will have access to play at 16 courses throughout the 2023 calendar year.
With the tour card, you'll save over $1,000 to play these golf courses.
Get yours today at tourcard.org.
Restrictions apply.
This holiday season, unwrap a brand new Dreamfinders home. You'll enjoy everything that makes the holidays merry and bright with family and friends in an expertly built, energy-efficient Dreamfinders home. What could be better than calling one of St. Johns County's magnificent communities such as Shearwater, Beacon Lake, or Silverleaf home as 2022 comes to a close and an exciting new year begins. Plus, with an interest rate lock special from Dreamfinders Homes, the timing is perfect to be in a gorgeous move-in ready home. Happy holidays to all from Dreamfinders Homes. Visit dreamfindershomes.com.
This is Dr. Kevin Kaplan, head team physician for your Jacksonville Jaguars. Here's the latest update on the Jags, brought to you by Baptist Health and JOI.
Jaguars have lost 9 straight to the Texans, and Houston has never lost to Trevor Lawrence in his time here. But Trevor spoke to media on the culture change here in Jacksonville.
It's part of the culture change, and just the mindset of this team has been awesome. It's really been cool to be a part of, and just to see that confidence really just build and build every week, and to be a part of it and be in the middle of it, it's been really cool, and you can feel it, and I'm sure you guys feel it too, and when you watch the games. And so yeah, I mean, I think it's the culture changing, it's playing good ball, it's having really good players, it's all those things. I think guys are playing well at the right time. It's all that.
Visit Jaguars.com for more. I'm Taylor Dahl with your JOI Jaguars update.
This 1010XL 92.5 FM hour is powered by Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733. Now, hello. Another great guest on the Farah and Farah phone line. Brought to you by the Accident Attorneys at Farah and Farah.
Back here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville. We are glad you are with us. The Tennessee Titans tonight take on the Dallas Cowboys. They look like they're resting a lot of guys on the surface. About 10 guys are out for Tennessee, and of course they'll come to Jacksonville a week from Sunday for the AFC South Championship game. Mickey Ryan does Sports Radio 104.5 The Zone up in Nashville. You also hear him on the Titans radio network, and he's always kind enough to join us here on 1010XL. Mickey, how we doing, man?
Man, I'm doing fantastic. Just happy to be on with the good folks in Jacksonville again. How the heck are you doing? Did you have a good Christmas? Santa Claus find you again this year?
Oh, he did. There's no doubt about that. My 3-year-old had a great Christmas as well. Thank you for asking. And the Jaguars had a great Christmas, quite frankly, Mickey, with what happened to Tennessee against Houston last weekend. The Titans have lost 5 games in a row. On the surface, it looks like bad times up there in Nashville. What's the feeling about this Tennessee ball club heading into tonight's game?
Well, those bad times are well beneath the surface right now with those 5 straight losses. You know, it's interesting. In any fan base, you always have the people who are just everything's going to be okay and they're going to win and I believe in this team and, you know, that are going to just believe until there's nothing left to believe in anymore. But there are some people who've started to say, you know, when do the draft magazines come out? And, you know, maybe if they didn't make the playoffs, they could get a little bit better position for, you know, an offensive lineman or maybe an explosive playmaker that could help this, my gosh, this anemic offense of the Titans. But there is still hope to cling to. And, you know, we're still in the holiday season. So I would say more than not, Titans fans are still clinging to some ember of hope.
Mickey Ryan, 104.5 The Zone up in Nashville and the Titans radio network. Mickey, 10 guys out, 3 guys listed as doubtful tonight against Dallas. It certainly appears that Mike Vrabel is resting guys. Is that the case, or are these guys, would they be out next week if the game against Jacksonville was tonight?
No, this is very obviously around here that he is resting guys. You know, he got asked after the loss of the Texans, so does this change things against Dallas this week? Because that game doesn't really matter. And in a rare moment of his guard kind of dropping, he said, yeah, it probably does. And then he sort of put his Mike Vrabel, you know, facade back on and went right back to work. But he said, you know, I got a lot of guys who are giving everything they have and, you know, are diminished physically. And he kind of talked in some circles after that, but that first sentence really told us everything we needed to know. So there are a whole bunch of guys who will be, you know, out with injuries, wink, wink, tonight. Tom Pelissero has already reported that Derrick Henry is not going to play. That's what his sources are telling him. You know, it's funny how those national guys seem to be plugged in sometimes, but he's already reporting that Derrick Henry won't play tonight and that the rookie Hassan Haskins will get the majority of the carries. But there is a little bit of precedent set for this. In 2019, the last time the Titans won a playoff game, they set Derrick Henry, there were only 16 games at that point, in week 15, game 15. He did not play against New Orleans in anticipation that he would be fully healthy. He had a little bit of a hammy issue. And then he ran for over 200 yards against the Texans, and the Titans beat them and won the division, and they went on a little bit of a run in the playoffs. So there's a little bit of a precedent for Vrabel doing this, but absolutely, this is all to prep for you guys in Jacksonville next week.
Couple of more from Mickey Ryan, 104.5 The Zone in Nashville and the Titans radio network. Mickey, Malik Willis did not have a great game last week. Well, let me ask you first and foremost, is Ryan Tannehill done? I mean, is there any chance at all Tannehill plays in Jacksonville next Sunday?
Well, you and I are sitting in the heart of SEC country, as you know, you in Florida and me in Tennessee. And, you know, the precedent for the return from tightrope ankle surgery is a guy that we all saw in college, Tua Tagovailoa. So we basically have the warring camps of Ian Rappaport saying he may not be done and Adam Schefter saying, oh, no, he's done. So nobody really seems to know, but I know this. Ryan Tannehill is the toughest guy. You know, he came out and really probably shouldn't have played the second half of the game of his most recent ankle injury, but he did. So I think if there's any way in the world that guy can return, that he will play. But my goodness, to come back that quickly seems almost impossible. You know, the question now for Tannehill might be, is he the guy next year? They could save almost $18 million on the cap if they move on from him, and they're $16.5 million in the hole for next year. So that would barely get them right side up in the cap just to make that move.
Is there confidence, Mickey, in Malik Willis that he could come into Jacksonville next week in a game of that magnitude and win?
If you put a lie detector on me and ask me that question, I'll probably have to say, not right now. No. No. And part of it, honestly, some of it stems from what we've seen from him. Some of it stems from how atrocious the Titans' offensive line has been, and now it's really beat up. And some of it stems from Todd Downing and his play calling, the Titans' offensive coordinator. You know, the Titans average 5.6 points per game in the second half of games, and they average 2.5 points in the fourth quarter. So there's just very little confidence in this team, even when it starts well, to finish well offensively.
Final moments, Mickey, and I know you got to go get ready for your show in Nashville. Look, I've been telling people all week, I'll continue telling people down here, maybe it's the logo. I got horror memories of that logo with Steve McNair and Eddie George and Frank Wycheck and your co-host there, Blaine Bishop, and just ripping my heart out as a teenager. But I know as well as any Jaguar fans should know, the Titans are going to come in here next week, and they're not going to lay down. They're the AFC South defending champion until they are not. And for any Jaguar fan that thinks next Sunday is going to be easy, I think they're in for a rude awakening. Tennessee's a proud franchise, and as beat up as they are, I know they're going to battle extremely hard next week.
Well, their defense was so good for the first half of the season. They gave up passing yards, but they were great against the run. They got after quarterbacks. They hit quarterbacks. You know, giving Jeff Simmons a couple of extra days rest. And Nico Autry is back after missing some significant time. You know, Bud Dupree hasn't given him much this year. He'll rest again this week with hopes you could get the maximum amount from him. If you could get Christian Fulton back. And then think about it, a 2-week rested Derrick Henry. I mean, even without Ryan Tannehill, the Titans defense playing to the level it played earlier this season, and a rested Derrick Henry at least does give them some hope and some optimism in that game. But my goodness, man, the Jags have been on quite a run. We had, I believe it was Mark Long from down your way, the Associated Press writer, a couple of weeks ago when the Titans and the Jags played their first game. And Mark, if this wasn't you, I'll still attribute it to you because I believe it was. And he said, guys, think about the future of this division. Which team is most obviously in the best shape of anybody? It's the Jacksonville Jaguars. Mm-hmm. So, you know, they are really set for the future. Doug Peterson was a great hire. Getting Urban out of town was just an unbelievably fantastic move. That, I mean, my gosh, he was just a rock holding down this franchise or holding down your franchise. So there's a lot of reason for optimism down there. I think for the Titans, the hope is, can you just put off that optimism plan for maybe one more year? Could you find a way to win that last game?
Mickey Ryan, 104.5 The Zone in Nashville. You also hear him as part of the Titans radio network. Mickey, appreciate the time, man. Go have a great broadcast tonight up there in Nashville, and we'll see you next week down here in Jacksonville.
You are the best, and happy holidays to you and everybody in Jacksonville, and looking forward to next week.
There you go, Mickey Ryan, 104.5 The Zone in Nashville. And the big news of the day, at least when it comes to the game tonight, Josh Dobbs will be the starting quarterback for the Tennessee Titans. They have apparently decided to bench rookie quarterback Malik Willis. What does that mean going into next week with the assumption that Ryan Tannehill will still not be able to play? It's a mess at the quarterback position right now in Tennessee as they play a game tonight in which they're resting a lot of their guys against the Dallas Cowboys on Amazon Prime Video. 1 hour down, 1 hour to go. We're with you till 4 o'clock, a special edition of Hacker After Dark in for the Frangie Show. Remember, at 4 o'clock, Jaguar Happy Hour, followed by the Doug Peterson Show. That is coming up this afternoon here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM. Coming up next, into the 3 o'clock hour we go. A little bit in the world of college football. Remember, Kurt Weiler of the Osceola, the Rivals.com website covering Florida State. He's in Orlando getting ready for the Cheez-It Bowl. He is coming up in the 3 o'clock hour. And longtime NFL writer and Pro Football Hall of Fame voter, my friend Vic Carucci, also coming up in the 3 o'clock hour. Jacksonville, we're glad you're with us on a Thursday afternoon here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM. It's Hacker After Dark.
The Frangie Show, live from the Hastings Injury Law Firm Studios on 1010XL. Hit back with Hastings.
He was the best-dressed quarterback in the NFL.
He owns it.
Now, it's shorts and a T-shirt.
Who is this guy?
David Garrard joins Jaguars Today to talk Jags. Mondays on 1010XL. Brought to you by Napa Auto Care.
We would like to thank everyone for a very memorable 2022 and wish all happy holidays. But the best is yet to come. Happy Honda Days is here. Visit your local Honda dealer and see the new exciting lineup for 2023. Don't miss it. We're dealing.
People often ask me, Lee, do I have to take the roadside sobriety tests? The answer is no. Hi, I'm attorney Lee Lockett. Auditioning for your freedom on the side of the road can be nerve-wracking. And although your refusal might be used in court, in many cases, it's better to think twice and talk with an attorney first. I have 25 years of experience defending those accused of DUIs and criminal charges all over Northeast Florida. I'm from here, I live here, and I'm here to help you if you need me. I love fighting for your rights. Know Before You Blow. Go to knowbeforeyoublow.com now. Offices Jacksonville.
Pest control here in Florida can be quite the pain, but not if you have the right company. Frank Frangie here for Orange Environmental Services, Jacksonville's highest quality pest control for over 45 years. I've trusted Orange Environmental to take care of our home's pest control needs for years. If you have residential or commercial lawn care or pest control needs, call Orange Environmental today at 272-3284. Orange Environmental, giving Northeast Florida peace of mind from bug problems since 1972. And they can take care of your mosquito and termite issues as well. Orange Environmental, 272-3284.
I'm with Greg from Cycles of Jacksonville, and Honda is really the big name when it comes to on-road bikes where you can go out affordably and have a lot of fun.
We've got everything from small CC displacement bikes that are super fuel efficient to the Honda Goldwing, which is their flagship model.
So entry point bikes that young people can learn to ride on, and then people who are experienced can find the ride they want.
Absolutely. We've got both segments covered, fuel efficient, great to ride.
Showroom wide open for you to check everything out from Honda. Cycles of Jacksonville on Atlantic near Regency.
Home of the Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Hi, this is Dave Barker. Want to grow your hair back?
IHRS, right here in Jacksonville, is the only hair transplant clinic in the country that offers multi-unit hair grafting, FUE NeoGraft hair transplants, and the 45-minute effective PRP treatments.
Multi-unit hair grafting gave me more hair in one procedure and within my budget.
Thank you, IHRS.
IHRS showed me what was causing my hair loss and helped stop it.
Schedule a free evaluation and find out how to grow your hair back and keep the hair you have. Call 904-777-IHRS. Take the first step to restoring your hair today. Visit hairforme.com.
Now my hair will grow for the rest of my life. Thanks, IHRS.
IHRS has been restoring hair for men and women for over 30 years.
Call now for a free in-person or virtual evaluation. 904-777-IHRS. That's 904-777-4477. Or visit hair4me.com.
Here at Rhino Shield, we've been protecting homes for over 20 years. We are your go-to coating company for repairing and coating stucco. But Rhino Shield is engineered for any surface. Our coating is perfect for any siding or material used on homes. From stucco to vinyl, brick, wood, hardy board, or stone. If it's on your house, we can coat it. It's a new day at Rhino Shield, so give us a call or visit us online to set up an appointment. Rhino Shield, engineered to outlast paint.
This month is the perfect time to make sure your roof hasn't been damaged after storm season. Schedule a complimentary roof evaluation with Universal Roof and Contracting. You may qualify for 0 down, no payments, and no interest for 12 months on your roof repair project, plus a free warranty upgrade for first responders and veterans. This offer expires December 31st and restrictions apply. License number CCC 1330747, CBC 1258484.
UniversalRoof.com.
This is Keith Catlin for Catlin Truck Accessories, and we are so blessed to be in business for over 100 years. Over 100 years of the best product and customer service means you can count on Catlin. From roll and lock bed covers to Lear toppers to cam locker toolboxes, Catlin Truck Accessories has you covered when it comes to your truck or van. We do those too. Got a fleet of vehicles? We can outfit them all.
Who can you count on? Count on Catlin.
One name, one location, 100 years. You can count on Catlin.
Eggnog and carpet? Wine on the sofa? Dingy looking tile and grout? No problem. Call Zero Res. Zero Res technicians, they're cleaning freaks. More than 5,000 5-star customer reviews. Zero Res, man, spell it forwards or backwards. It's the right way to clean.
You don't have to go through yet another year with that knee pain or back pain. People with chronic pain are getting real lasting relief with
QC Kinetics. Leon Searcy here. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in advanced regenerative medicine with locations right here in Mandarin and Ponte Vedra. These unique protocols use healing agents from your own body to target aching joints, repairing and restore damaged tissues, so you can move again with no surgery, no drugs, no downtime. Got shoulder pain, excruciating hip pain? If you have any arthritis pain or lingering pain from any injury, don't let them operate on you or give you more steroids. And say no to pain pills. Call QC Kinetics and see if their life-changing, all-natural treatments can get you living your best life in this year. People are raving about these treatments. This is the future of joint pain management, and appointments are available as soon as next year. Make 2023 the year you say goodbye to joint pain. Call QC Kinetics for a free consultation. 904-274-5522. That's 904-274-5522 in Mandarin and Ponte Vedra.
This is your Southeast Orthopedic Specialist Local Sports Update. I'm Taylor Dahl for 1010XL. TaxSlayer Gator Bowl is tomorrow as number 19 Notre Dame and 20th ranked South Carolina battle here in Jacksonville. That game is at 3:30, and you will be able to hear Frank Frangie and Shane Matthews on the call on 1010XL. Florida State football plays Oklahoma in the Cheez-It Bowl tonight. Noles ended their season 9-3 and are strong favorites over the 6-6 Sooners for the game in Orlando. That game kicks off at 5:30. While Thursday night football featuring the Titans and Cowboys tonight, Tennessee announced a plethora of players who will be out in tonight's game, including Zach Cunningham, Bud Dupree, Amani Hooker, and a doubtful Derrick Henry. Tennessee also announced they are starting Josh Dobbs at QB tonight against the Cowboys. 67 degrees at 3:02. Time and temper brought to you by Bueller Air Condition. Stay cooler with Bueller.
This 1010XL 92.5 FM hour is powered by Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733. Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
1 hour down, 1 hour to go, halftime. Special edition Hacker After Dark in for the Frangie Show. We're taking you up to 4 o'clock to Jaguar Happy Hour, followed by the Doug Peterson Show. That is coming up this afternoon/evening on 1010XL and 92.5 FM. Absolutely love doing sports talk radio. I've been doing it now over 20 years, 3 different radio stations, 4 different buildings in that time. Wouldn't trade it for anything, absolutely anything. But I wanted to give you guys a little behind-the-curtain peek at some of the things we deal with on a daily basis. So I was talking in hour number 1, praising Florida State and Mike Norvell. By the way, we're going to go to Orlando coming up in less than 15 minutes. Kurt Weiler of the Osceola down there getting ready for the Cheez-It Bowl, which kicks off at 5:30 this afternoon. But for those of you that listen to me and have listened to me for many years, you know that I would say before Denmark I became an objective broadcast journalist. You could have probably called me a Florida Gator fan. I have always liked Florida State. I have. Pat Kennedy basketball camp. Loved the Pat Kennedy basketball camp in Tallahassee back in the day. Also sat with the Animals at Dick Hauser Stadium a few times in my life. I can break bread with the garnet and gold, but I think that most people that listen over the years would say that I have Florida Gator leanings, which is fine. But this is what we deal with on a daily basis. So after praising Mike Norvell last hour, I get a couple of texts on the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures at 641-1010. Get off Norvell's... I don't believe I can say that.
Stuff.
Get off Norvell's stuff, although they did not say stuff. Coach of the year, just because he beat down 2 teams in Florida and Miami, Napier could ask Norvell a thing or two about what he's doing when it comes to recruiting. Gators gave y'all everything y'all wanted. So wait a minute, I'm a Florida State fan now? Then the same person goes on, yes, he's done very well in the portal, but I hate cocky, arrogant fans like yourself, referring to me. Again, lumping me, the hacker, the guy that many people will tell you bleeds orange and blue and a Gator homer and this, that, and the other. Now I am a cocky, arrogant Florida State fan, And now I do realize why people don't like Florida Gator fans. Oh, there is absolutely no doubt about that, Denmark. How quickly y'all forget the Noles lost 3 of the last 4. That's not true. What, he's talking about the Gators, I guess. Y'all are only 1 year removed from being a dumpster fire, and you talk like you're Alabama, LOL. Whatever. All I did was simply give Florida State a little love. Norvell was on the hot seat. Florida State was a dumpster fire coming into the year, so people thought. And people thought Mike Norvell might not be the man for the job. And all he did was beat the crap out of Miami, beat Florida, put 90 points combined on both of them, win 9 games. They're about to win Game 10 when they destroy Oklahoma here in a couple of hours. They're absolutely killing it in the transfer portal yet again. And all of their guys, or most of their guys, are coming back for 2023, including quarterback Jordan Travis. And Florida State is going to be a top 15, if not a top 10 preseason ranked team going into next year. It's just amazing, you know? Either, some people hear what they want to hear, or you say something that aggravates somebody. I have never been accused of being a Florida State fan until this very moment, where apparently I am a cocky and an arrogant Florida State fan, which I just, quite frankly, found pretty amusing. But you want to talk about giving pointers? Mike Norvell could give Billy Napier a few pointers on the transfer portal. We thought Florida was going to hit the transfer portal hard and heavy. They've done less than nothing. They got a quarterback that no Gator fan is happy about in Graham Mertz. Meanwhile, Sam Hartman, remember all those rumors? He's apparently going to Notre Dame. Devin Leary is going to Kentucky. So not only did Florida not get Devin Leary, they have to play Devin Leary next year. And Mike Norvell on all the recruiting websites has the number 1 transfer portal ranked team in America right now. Again. So I don't know who's going to give who pointers on what. Because Mike Norvell right now in Florida State run the state of Florida. You think I like saying that? When you beat Miami 45-3, when you beat Florida 45-38, give credit where credit's due, brother. And Mike Norvell and the Seminoles own the state right now. Until Miami or Florida does something about it next year. Florida State, Oklahoma. The world-famous Cheez-It Bowl in Orlando coming up at 5:30. Kurt Weiler of the Osceola, the Rivals.com website, covering Florida State. He's in Orlando getting ready for the game. Let's talk Florida State, Oklahoma. Let's talk how great Florida State's doing in the transfer portal. And we'll take an early look ahead to what this team may look like in 2023. Florida State football, Kurt Weiler of the Osceola next on a special edition of Hacker After Dark.
The Frangie Show, live from the Hastings Injury Law Firm Studios on 1010XL. Hit back with Hastings.
In Duval, we know defense. Each week, Superior Fence and Rail presents the Defensive Player of the Game.
In trouble, down he goes!
It's all about defense. On 1010XL.
Great job, baby! At Hodges Mazda, your hometown Mazda dealer, we strive to ensure a satisfying and comfortable car buying experience. Lauren Brooks here. The sales staff doesn't work on commission, allowing Hodges Mazda to put your best interest first. Hodges Mazda is located right up the road and has a large selection of new and used vehicles to choose from. Plus, every vehicle purchase comes with 2 years free maintenance. And even if you don't buy a vehicle from us, we will still buy your vehicle. Visit Hodges Mazda today or shop online during the Season of Inspiration sales event at HodgesMazda.com. Lauren Brooks here for Doubled Up Sport Fishing Charters. Happy New Year! For a real good start to your new year, reel in some fish. Doubled Up Sport Fishing Charters offers half-day, full-day, and even overnight private fishing charters aboard the 50-foot Helios out of Jack's Beach at Beach Marine. Sailfish, mahi-mahi, wahoo, tuna, an incredible experience with Captain John Sheffield. Visit DoubledUpSportFishingCharters.com or find Doubled Up Sport Fishing Charters on Facebook for more information.
Hello, First Coast. I'm sure by now you have seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We're an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We're committed to customer service, reliability, and have an unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today from GFL, Green for Life.
When you're a little kid on the playground, they tell you don't hit back. Well, the courtroom isn't a playground. And if you've suffered an injury or death in your family, I'm here to tell you it's okay to hit back and fight to make them pay. I'm attorney Brett Hastings, and at Hastings Injury Law, we understand all the pain and emotion that comes with being wrong. And we've dedicated our lives to making things right for people like you. So if you get hit back with Hastings Injury Law. Offices, Jacksonville.
Sports fans, this is David Garrard here. And if you're suffering from orthopedic soreness, make an appointment at Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, where everyone is treated like a pro.
This is Dr. Kevin Murphy with Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, where athletes are treated like pros. Thanks to all of you who have allowed us to be part of your recovery. Call us at Southeast Orthopedic Specialists if you ever have a need.
Relieve pain and get back to life. SOS. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Get your news and notes from the swamp.
Alligators ornery cause they got all them teeth.
I'm Lauren Brooks. Join me for the Gator Report on 1010XL as I break down the latest storylines in Gator Nation.
Wow! Brought to you by Darley's Plumbing, where quality counts.
Are you an electrician looking for better pay and benefits? Miller Electric Company has the industry-leading compensation package. Electricians are eligible for a signing bonus up to $1,000. Now, they're partnering with the Jaguars on their new performance facility, the Miller Electric Center. Miller Electric has opportunities for you to work on some of the most exciting projects right here in Jacksonville. Whether you're experienced or not, visit MillerCareers.com, an equal opportunity employer. That's MillerCareers.com.
Roland Reich Plumbing, there when you need them. Big or small plumbing problem, call Roland Reich Plumbing anytime at 260-7059. 260-7059, where quality and experience count.
I'm Taylor Rose with our Remedy Staffing Westside office off of Normandy Boulevard. We are helping great people find great jobs. Remedy has helped some of the best employers in Jacksonville find talented job seekers like you for over 25 years. Our current job openings range from entry-level distribution center pickers to equipment operators. Apply today at remedygoodjobs.com. Don't wait. Apply at remedygoodjobs.com now.
Concrete floors don't have to be ugly and hard to clean. Whether it's a garage with cracks, tire marks, and failed epoxy, or any concrete surface that isn't beautiful and maintenance-free, Shark Coatings will transform it. Our coating and warranty are stronger, more durable, and longer lasting than any other on the market. And because Shark Coatings is 100% UV stable for life, it's perfect for any concrete surface outside as well. Shark Coatings will let you reclaim those wasted hours spent pressure washing your driveway, patios, and walkways. Hit us up on social media or call 904-519-5055 to set up your free estimate today.
I'm here with Clayton Bromberg of Underwood. Underwood has completed 75 years in business, and now you are starting your next 75 years. If you were going to simplify things, what is the single most important thing in Underwood's history, and what will be the most important thing in your future?
Frank, that's simple. Our honesty and integrity. You know, our founder, H.F. Underwood's favorite saying was, know the truth and tell the truth. That's why we're the longest-standing member of the American Gem Society in Florida. Because we know you have to have the knowledge about gemstones before you can tell the truth about them. That's why we continue to educate our staff through the Gemological Institute of America and the American Gem Society. In fact, today Underwood's has the largest American Gem Society credentialed staff of professionals east of the Mississippi River. So come by and see why we're looking forward to the next 75 years and let one of our experts assist you.
That's at Underwood's, serving excellence since 1928. In San Marco, Avondale, the shops of Ponte Vedra, Underwood Jewelers.
This 1010XL 92.5 FM hour is powered by Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733. Now, hello. Another great guest on the Farah and Farah phone line. Brought to you by the Accident Attorneys at Farah and Farah.
Back here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville. We are glad you are with us. Florida State getting ready for the Cheez-It Bowl later this week, where they will take on Oklahoma. They look to cap off a 10-win season. Who would have ever thought that a few months ago? And Florida State is currently just cleaning up once again in the transfer portal. There is a lot to get into with that. Let's head to Orlando. Kurt Weiler of the Osceola down there getting ready for the Cheez-It Bowl. Always kind enough to join us on 1010XL. Kurt, how we doing, man?
Doing well. I think I'm supposed to say I'm feeling the cheesiest. Isn't that the Cheez-It phrase?
That's right. That's exactly right. And look, we'll talk about the game. Certainly want to get into the portal and look ahead to next year. Here's my thoughts on the game. I think Florida State's going to destroy Oklahoma. I thought that since the bowl game was announced, Florida State's very good. Oklahoma is not. Plus, Oklahoma has guys sitting out. Florida State seems much more motivated. I mean, you're on the ground down there. You tell me, Kurt, but from the mile-up view, it looks like Florida State might have an easy time of this later this week.
I think that's absolutely a world where that happens. I mean, when you look at, I think Florida State, was the better team this season. And then I think you also look at Oklahoma is dealing with a few key opt-outs. They're very effective running back Eric Gray. I think both their starting offensive tackles, the starting defensive lineman who I think had like 10 tackles for loss this season. They're missing a few pieces. Florida State is not. A few guys still making decisions, but they're all here this week. Fabian Lovett's here. Jared Verse is here. Jamie Robinson's here. I mean, Florida State, like you said, hasn't been here a ton. And I mean, I think the Cheez-It Bowl, and I'm not sure I'm blaming them because I think a lot of Oklahoma fans are going to travel, but I think they chose a bigger brand over a better team. They could have taken a Texas Tech or someone like that who might be a bit better of a team, but they went with the bigger brand, and it makes what should be a battle of, two pretty big brands in college football, Florida State and Oklahoma. We'll see what kind of game it makes.
I'm not sure if things could get more positive for Florida State football right now. If they win, that's a 10-win season. Just everybody seems like they're coming back. I know there's a couple of guys that are still deciding, but from Jordan Travis on down, Kurt, it appears that guys are really bought in, coming back for 2023, where Florida State may be a preseason top 10 team next year.
I think that preset game against LSU week 1 next year down back here in Orlando, could be very well a top 8, top 10-ish type game. I mean, that's going to be probably the premier game of opening weekend, I have to imagine, just with all LSU's bringing back 2. Yeah, it's been great. I think that's Florida State had a new NIL collective launch a few weeks ago, the Battle's End. That I know the kind of focus for them was a lot of roster retention stuff, and you've seen that. I think some guys were motivated to come back anyways. I wonder how hard you had to sell the Jordan Travises, to sell the Trey Bensons on what the 2023 season could be if kind of things break the right way. But yeah, and I think we've seen a bit of a ripple effect there, and I think we'll find out shortly after if things can get even better with a guy like a Jared Verse coming back. If Johnny Wilson comes back at wide receiver, there are still a few pieces that could really even take the preseason hype to another level for this team.
Kurt Weiler of the Osceola, part of the Rivals Network, here with us on 1010XL in Jacksonville. Kurt, you follow this team as closely as anybody. If I were to tell you back on the 15th day of August that you're playing in a bowl game for the right to win 10 games, what would you have said back then?
Yeah, I would have been skeptical. To say the least. It's not how I saw this season going. I think it's a testament to a mix of things. I think you can't deny that I think some teams on your schedule were not as good as you thought they were going to be, or you caught them at the right time with backup quarterbacks or with injuries, things of that sort. But you also can't deny, Florida State was dominating a lot of those teams. They weren't leaving much doubt during kind of the meat of that schedule with ending the regular season on the 5-game winning streak. And it's I probably wouldn't have been inclined to believe you, but witnessing it now, it's been something to behold.
I'll give Mike Norvell credit in another area too, and you and I talked about this at points during the year. Boy, a lot of momentum for Mario Cristobal at Miami, Billy Napier at Florida, and there was certainly times last offseason where Mike Norvell was clearly the third coach in the state, with everybody that was talking about Cristobal, everybody that was talking about Napier. Norvell beat both. They put 90 points on Florida and Miami combined, and they're state champions, and what they're doing now in the portal, which we'll get to in a moment. It could have been really bad for Florida State, but certainly it turned out much, much better. And what Mike Norvell did this year, not only with that team, not only what he did building that roster, but in taking that momentum back from Miami and Florida, I thought was huge, Kurt.
I agree. I think, the other two were going to get a bit more of kind of that grace period just with being first-year coaches. Obviously, I think most people understand that these things take time, even if there's some confusion maybe over what that vision is in the moment. But, I think he desperately needed this season. Because, I think people were, we've talked about, people were patient. People understood the situation he inherited. But it was time for a season like this.
Kurt, what is the feeling among you, your colleagues at the Osceola? You mentioned Jared Verse. You mentioned Johnny Wilson, guys that have not officially come out one way or another and made their intentions known for next year. What is the vibe with guys like that? Do you feel they're coming back as well?
Well, I don't know. I wrote a column a while ago about the Jordan Travis ripple effect, where he was kind of the first big domino to fall. We'll see. The fact that it's gone on this long is it speaks to I think some indecisiveness on their part. I think there is the desire to come be a part of this. I think Jamie Robinson, honestly, is a guy who thought he was only going to be at Florida State for 1 year when he transferred in. Now I think he's considering year 3, and I think he's considering it more than he thought he was when kind of after the Florida game, he talked about that being his last game at Doak. I think Jared Verse, I think a lot of it for him hinges on draft feedback, because he's a guy who could really boost his stock if he's maybe not getting the feedback he wants, which it'll be interesting to see. We may not hear about that, but I think that his decision will likely be determined by that. And I would think if he came back, I think he would be excited to be a part of it. And I think there is definitely a chance on Jared, more than probably I would have thought at the end of the season, but I think a lot of that hinges on draft feedback. Fabian Lovett's hard to get a read on, just because, he definitely did not have the year he had, but I think he's a case where it's harder to maybe see the room for improvement, how he could build his draft stock or anything like that by coming back for one more year. Florida State's bringing in 2 transfer defensive tackles, kind of transforming that room a bit. Be interested to see how all those pieces fit together if Fabian Lovett did come back, but I think that's a problem that Florida State would happily take on.
Final moments here with Kurt Weiler of the Osceola, that of course is part of the Rivals Network covering Florida State. Kurt, you mentioned the transfer portal. Mike Norvell has made a living in the transfer portal. He revolutionized Florida State's roster in the transfer portal, and he's doing it again. I think in a lot of the transfer portal ranking boards, Florida State is currently number 1. They're bringing in guys that will no doubt start for them. The tight end from South Carolina. They've added a couple of offensive linemen. The big defensive lineman from Miami. I think they just got another big defensive lineman that committed out of the portal yesterday from the Mid-American Conference. So, again, for the 3rd year in a row, Norvell is just simply getting it done in the portal.
I think he uses the portal. I think it's interesting that people have kind of seemed to take notice. I think rival fan bases have a bit of envy, it seems like, over how the kind of market inefficiency that Mike Norvell has found in the portal. I think he understands that the success, like long-term success in Tallahassee, is largely going to come through the high school ranks, and you've seen that start to tick up. And I'm not so much worried about that. Like Miami and Florida were both ahead of Florida State in the recruiting rankings among high school guys this year, because to me, like this season's success, especially parlayed into next year, was always going to mean more for that 2024 class, which I know is off to a very strong start for Florida State. And so I think you'll see the high school improve, especially starting in that class, if they parlay this year's success into next year. But yeah, I think he's been very smart at identifying, he and his staff, I should say, very smart at identifying instant needs that even bringing in a high school guy isn't going to address it, because not a ton of high school guys are ready for significant roles year one, and being fast with reaching out to people. And just making some really impressive moves. You talked about Braden Fisk from Western Michigan, beating out, he's a Midwest kid, and you beat out Notre Dame, and you beat out USC, which I know has kind of built a bit of a reputation as one of the kind of NIL machines, if you will, with what they did last offseason. So, yeah, I think it's been really impressive to witness, and I think it's something Mike Norvell, even as things keep going, and even as I'm sure they will start trying to use high school recruiting more heavily, I think it is a really smart way to identify your instant needs and address them I mean, time and time again, it's been some of the most highly regarded players in the transfer portal. And yeah, they're doing it again.
Kurt, as we wrap up with you, there was a thought that the NIL situation in Tallahassee may not be what it is at other rival schools, Clemson, Miami, Florida, just to name a few. There was also a thought that the standalone football facility, or lack thereof, in Tallahassee could become an issue with what they built in Gainesville. And none of this seems to matter because they're getting good recruits. They're getting guys out of the portal. I mean, with the NIL now at Florida State, the football facility that I know is coming, boy, if they're doing it without that stuff, imagine what they could do when they start getting some of that stuff.
I think that's an astute observation. I think it's a credit to Mike Norvell, and I mean, he may not have Billy Napier's some huge support staff, although he has a solid support staff. He may not have John Ruiz's deep pockets, but there is something about Mike Norvell that is very compelling to a lot of, especially the transfers, but I think more and more of the high school guys too.
Kurt Weiler of the Osceola down in Orlando covering the Cheez-It Bowl. Kurt, always appreciate the time, man. Know you're busy. Enjoy the game. Have a happy new year, and we'll talk again soon.
Sounds good, Ryan. Thanks.
Thank you to Kurt Weiler of the Osceola. That's, of course, the Rivals.com website covering Florida State. They kick it off against Oklahoma down at the Cheez-It Bowl in Orlando. That is coming up at 5:30, roughly 5:30 this afternoon. All things going on. Obviously, we got to talk more about the Jacksonville Jaguars. They got the big one next Sunday against Tennessee. People are wondering if that game is going to get flexed to a Saturday night or a Sunday night. We don't know yet. The NFL will make those announcements over the weekend. You would think, though, a win-or-go-home scenario for a division championship, there's a likelihood that it will get flexed. Again, nothing official as of yet. But before Jacksonville gets there, before the Jaguars can take on the Titans, let's go into 9-game losing streak against the Houston Texans. The Jaguars go out to Houston on Sunday, a 1 o'clock kick. Of course, you'll get the game right here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM. Let's talk Jaguars. Let's talk Trevor Lawrence. Let's talk Doug Peterson with a man that has covered the National Football League for many, many years. My friend Vic Carucci, you now hear him on SiriusXM NFL Radio. He is a Pro Football Hall of Fame voter, and he is next. A special edition of Hacker After Dark in for the Frangie Show here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
The Frangie Show, live from the Hastings Injury Law Firm Studios on 1010XL. Hit back with Hastings.
The Gators are here.
Goes to the cup. Bunched it with the right hand. Powered up.
This is Gator Country.
That'll do it. A W for the Gators.
1010XL, Jacksonville's Gator station.
Howdy, friends. Consider this your wake-up call because you don't want to miss the final days of Toyotathon at Arlington Toyota. Even on used, over 400 pre-owned are on the lot, all makes, all models, ready to test drive, save big, and take home today. Plus, Arlington's 30-day exchange program comes with your purchase. That's 30 days to love your purchase or exchange it. What are you waiting for? It's the final days of Toyotathon savings at Arlington Toyota Pre-Owned. Shop in person and online at arlingtontoyota.com today.
This is Hayes Carlion for Harrell & Harrell. If you are in need of a personal injury attorney, you need a team with a strong sense of compassion. You need a local team. Holt and Julie Harrell will give you that. I've known them for over 25 years from our days in high school. Harrell & Harrell is a Jacksonville firm through and through. They care about this community, and they are going to treat you like family. Hopefully you won't need them. But if you're ever injured, call Harrell & Harrell at 251-1111.
Rick Ballou for Carlson Dental. You know, I've been telling you this for quite some time because it's true. I hate going to the dentist, or at least I used to hate going to the dentist. I had total anxiety, and then I tried sedation. Light sedation for cleaning and deep sedation as well for cavities and root canals. Folks, it's an incredible experience. So don't be nervous. Don't be scared. Go to CarlsonDentalGroup.com. That's CarlsonDentalGroup.com for all of your dental needs.
Frank Frangie here from my friends at Big Chief Tire, where they guarantee quality service with every visit. Their skilled technicians will provide appropriate solutions for your vehicle at a price that fits your budget. Stop by one of their 4 Jacksonville locations to receive up to $150 off brake or rotor services. Offer valid for a limited time only. Visit the 2022 Bold City Best Auto Repair Shop at BigChiefTire.com or call 904-932-0950 to schedule an appointment at a Big Chief Tire near you. We keep Jacks rolling.
If your hair is thinning and you're looking for an easy solution that will restore your hair, check out IHRS PRP Platelet-Rich Plasma. PRP, using your own platelets and cells to restore your hair where it's thinning. Combined with their FDA-approved laser hair therapy and pharmaceutical-grade products, all 3 will deliver one better result. Call IHRS now for a free evaluation and to find out if their PRP 45-minute treatment will work for you. Now there is a solution for any man or woman with any degree of hair loss. And it's all in one place. Call 904-777-IHRS. IHRS has been restoring hair for over 30 years. The staff at IHRS knows what it's like to lose their hair. And that's why they're ready to help you grow your hair back.
Schedule your free hair and scalp analysis today. Call 904-777-IHRS. That's 904-777-4477. Or visit hair4me.com.
This date in sports history is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On December 29, 1968, in the AFL Championship, New York Jets beat the Oakland Raiders 27-23 as Joe Namath throws 3 touchdown passes to spark a win.
Googans, do you suffer with neck or back pain? My friend Dr. Alan Nathans at Disc Centers of America on Bay Meadows Road helps people diagnosed with bulging, herniated, and degenerated discs, sciatica, or stenosis. Dr. Nathans uses that DRX 9000 non-surgical spinal decompression table to gently unbulge and unherniate discs that are causing sciatica. Don't do another cortisone injection. Stay active and healthy as you get older. Dancing at 50, golf at 60, the river run at 70. Yes, yes, and yes. DrNathans.com.
Where is the Devil's Tower? The answer coming right up.
Having the right homeowner's policy protection means you're staying on top of your most valuable possession, your home. For information on finding an agent, go to southernoak.com.
Our family protecting yours. Southern Oak Insurance.
Devil's Tower was designated as the first national monument here in the United States in 1875. It's located in Crook County, Wyoming.
Southern Oak Insurance. Our family protecting yours.
Hey, I know we love our happy hours, but have you been to Mr. Chubby's Wings for lunch lately?
Yep, their new specials are awesome. I eat lunch there all the time.
I went this week and got wings, a drink, and chips for $8.
As usual, the best prices in town. You can't hardly find anyone doing $8 lunch anymore.
I know. I'm saving my money for the weekends with $8 lunch specials.
Save your money for the weekends. Enjoy $8 lunch specials Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. at Fleming Island, the West Side, and Ponte Vedra Beach. Mr. Chubby's Wings.
Perfect Rack Billiards in Murray Hill is your spot to be for all your football needs. Full liquor bar, 8 pool tables, darts, and shuffleboard. Weekly specials every day of the week from 60-cent wings to seltzer Saturdays, along with wing and pitcher specials on Sunday, and tons of great draft choices daily. There isn't a better place to play pool, have a beer, and just kick back. Half-price apps from 9 to close weekdays. Perfect Rag Billiards on Edgewood and Murray Hill. The best place in Jacks to watch sports.
Hey Jacksonville, I'm sure by now you've seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We are an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We are committed to customer service, reliability, and have unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today. GFL, green for life.
This is Dr. James Perry, Assistant Team Physician for your Jacksonville Jaguars. Here's the latest update on the Jaguars, brought to you by Baptist Health and JOI.
Back here on 1010X.
The Jaguars getting ready to face the Houston Texans this weekend, looking to end another losing streak. The Texans notched a win last week over Tennessee using both Davis Mills and Jeff Driscoll. And the process, Coach Mike Caldwell spoke on that too, QB system.
It's kind of tough because you have to find out. You really have 2 game plans. When 6 is back there or 10 is back there, just understand who's back there, what they like to do out of certain formations, what they like to do when one quarterback's in, or if the quarterback's split out. Is he a threat or is he not a threat? So just different ways that they try to affect the defense, but we'll have a plan for both guys and go out and try to execute it.
Visit Jaguars.com for more. I'm Taylor Dahl with your JOI Jaguars update.
This 1010XL 92.5 FM hour is powered by Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733. Now, another interview on the Farah and Farah phone line. Brought to you by the Accident Attorneys at Farah and Farah.
Back here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville. We're glad you're with us. The Jaguars and the Texans, Sunday at 1 o'clock. Of course, you'll hear the game right here on 1010XL. What a run it has been for the Jaguars to get themselves to within one win next Sunday against Tennessee of winning the AFC South Division Championship. Vic Carucci has covered the NFL for many years. You hear him on SiriusXM NFL Radio. He's also a contributor to WGRZ TV in Buffalo, and he's always kind enough to join us here on 1010XL. Vic, it's been a while, man. How are you?
I am well, and of course, happy days to you and your family.
Hey, Vic, thank you so much. Really appreciate that. And my goodness, what a turnaround here in Jacksonville. You and I talked at the beginning of the year. We didn't know what to expect from Doug Peterson and Trevor Lawrence in year number one, and it wasn't always pretty. It hasn't always been pretty. But, Vic, over the last 6 weeks, the Jaguars have made a great run to get themselves to within one win of a division title. What have you made of what the Jaguars have done here as of late?
Oh, man, it's so impressive to really see how steadily this has come along. I mean, this team went from being kind of just left out of the picture early on and a same old Jags type of conversation, even with a new coach and, where's the progress with Trevor Lawrence, even though we had seen some moments of it, but nothing that was sustained. And then suddenly it started to materialize. Now, we can't ignore the fact that the AFC South has left a wide open door for the Jaguars and certainly for the Titans as well. But I think especially for a Jaguar team that has literally clawed its way back, pun intended, clawed its way to a position where now you can see progress turn into meaningful progress, turn into the kind of thing that you can build upon if they can come away from this thing with the division championship.
Vic, Trevor Lawrence, as recently as Halloween, the game in London against Denver, admittedly was terrible, and he'll tell you as much. And he said that was a turning point. I mean, you've done this for a long time. Can you, just talk about Trevor the first 2 months of the year compared to what we've seen the last 2 months? Because, Vic, he looks like a completely different football player.
Well, he does. And let's start with giving the credit to him, first of all, to not only recognize that he needed to improve, but then put the work in to do so. And improve is a general term. What were the specific areas that he needed to address? The reads and all that went with decision making and accuracy and footwork and, all the ball placement. I mean, all the details that ultimately he worked on, but then he also had Doug Peterson to guide him. And Doug is masterful at this. We thought in the offseason, we thought when that hire was made, that the Jaguars were getting the right guy, especially in the aftermath of the whole Urban Meyer disaster, to have the right guy come in to address their biggest asset, who is Trevor Lawrence. And the concerns were there. Did they pick the right guy? Could they have missed on the top overall pick? And when that happens, the residual effect is a long time where you're not well as a team, where it takes a long time to get it back. But I think it's impressive that he, saw that as maybe his low point, and then, invested the time, but also had the guidance. And it's one thing, of course, to get the guidance, get the coaching, but you got to accept it. And you also have to take accountability, which I think is also important. And did at some point something click in his head where he said, to be a successful quarterback in this league, look around at all the great quarterbacking stories, the stories behind the highly accomplished quarterbacks, Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, just go through the list, Drew Brees, and recognize how they got there. And they didn't get there just because they were anointed great quarterbacks. They put the work in.
You see Vic Carucci on WGRZ television in Buffalo. You hear him on Sirius XM NFL radio, and he's always kind enough to join us here on 1010XL in Jacksonville. Vic, you talk about Doug Peterson. It's about the X's and O's. It's about the play calling, absolutely. But as you mentioned, it was so much more than that. He had to clean the stench up from not only Urban Meyer, but Vic, really the stench of almost 15 years of ineptitude here in Jacksonville, save the 2017 season. I'll give you an unbelievable stat. Prior to Doug Peterson, the Jaguars were 1-112 when they trailed by 17 points in a game. They'd won one of them out of 113 opportunities in their history. This year they've won twice under Doug Peterson, trailing by 17 points or more in a game. Vic, he's changed the culture here in Jacksonville in a very short amount of time.
Yeah, it's a belief system thing, right? You've got to not only, in the case of the players, believe in the guy leading you, but also his genuine belief that what he is selling is real, is applicable, is tangible. And that isn't always the case. Sometimes coaches always have to be really good salesmen, but sometimes you can see through the salesman and see that there isn't a lot of substance behind it. And then I think there are circumstances, and I'm not just saying that as a veiled thing about Urban Meyer. I'm saying that there are many cases like that that I've seen through the many years of being around the NFL, being around football in general. In Doug's case, look, he steps into a place where expectations start with, how are we going to fail this time? I mean, to really get people to buy into what you're doing, your fan base, people like yourself, media who've been around this team and understand how long it's been since you saw anything worth watching. And Doug Peterson, who of course has the pelt, has that Super Bowl championship, understands what it took to get the Eagles to where they were, has been part of other organizations as a player and a coach to understand what he's been around the best of the best. He's seen the Andy Reids and the others who built these programs. He comes with a base of knowledge and a vision. And I think the key was to convince everybody there that this can work. Now, how he was able to do that after such a poor start and that bottoming out that you saw in Europe is even more astounding. But my sense was, if they could give it time and patience, it'll work out. But you know what? Patience is a hard thing to grasp in professional sports or in sports in general.
Couple of more for Vic Carucci, Sirius XM NFL Radio, and a contributor to WGRZ TV in the Buffalo area. Vic, the question this offseason, did they surround Trevor Lawrence with enough talent to be successful? And I think that question has been answered. Travis Etienne is a 1,000-yard rusher. And look, the Jaguars got raked over the coals a little bit for some of the money they spent in free agency on Christian Kirk or Zay Jones or Evan Ingram. Vic, all three of those guys are having career years, and maybe I'm too much of a stats geek, but Evan Ingram in particular, the guy's a top 5 tight end all of a sudden, statistically speaking. It's amazing the turnaround Ingram has had here in Jacksonville.
Yeah, and, if you're looking for some of the reasons why it has clicked for Trevor Lawrence, you could start right there. Having that kind of target, having the reliability of a tight end, and the efficiency that position can bring, because it's often not the deeper routes that are explosive plays. Those are plays that'll keep chains moving and allow your offense to develop and maintain a rhythm. Now, you also mentioned Zay Jones, and I'm familiar with him from my time of being around the Buffalo Bills. When he came into the league, you saw the promise, you saw the athlete, but it just wasn't connecting. Now, some of that, if not most of that, could have been because he just didn't, they didn't have the right offense in place and certainly the right quarterback in place for him to thrive. It wasn't, Josh Allen circa 2022 or even 2019. But Zay, through his time post-Buffalo, I think in his own way, found some maturing. And when you have him doing the kinds of things he's done, I think I've watched the effort he's made on plays with the Jaguars, and I've been highly impressed. That's a different guy than I saw at the beginning of his career.
Vic, the Jaguars are in a unique position as we begin to wrap up with you. They play the Texans on Sunday, a game they'd like to win. I mean, Houston's won 9 in a row against Jacksonville, which is an unbelievable stat when you really sit down and think about it. Yet all eyes are pointing towards a week from Sunday where the AFC South Championship will be decided here in Jacksonville between the Jaguars and the Titans. Doug Peterson has already come out this week and said it's full steam ahead. The guys are going to play, no rest. He wants to keep this momentum going. What's your thought on the quandary the Jaguars are in with a division game on the road, yet obviously Week 18 is far more important?
Yeah, look, I also understand the position that people have that, don't do anything that could jeopardize your chances of winning it in terms of risking injury and so forth between now and the game that, quote, really counts. However, treating this game like a bye could be the mistake that Doug Peterson doesn't want to make, and that is get your team in a headspace where they're not focused, where the momentum that's built up to the point where they're in this position to win it all in terms of the division a week from this weekend could be disrupted. So they want to, like he says, full steam ahead. Now, would it shock me if at various points in the game he's liberal with substitution? And, depending on how the flow of the game is going, does he do some things that he might not otherwise do if this game meant as much as the following game? That's what you got to keep an eye on. But as far as preparation, as far as attitude, I don't think he wants his team to think in any way, hey, here's a nice little early bye week for you, because you do have to, as far as they've come as a team this year, you want that momentum rolling all the way into not only winning a division, and then that's just the beginning. Then there's work to do after that to make that count for something.
Hey, Vic, final question. And look, I've been warning people here in Jacksonville this week, and I'll continue warning them next week. Tennessee, I know they're down right now. I get it. It does not look good. They got injuries all over the place. Maybe it's that logo, and we've had, horror stories of what the Titans have done to the Jaguar franchise going back 25-plus years. But I'm telling people, Vic, that game a week from Sunday is not going to be easy. Tennessee is the AFC South champion until they're not. And the Jaguars are going to get their absolute best shot in that win-or-go-home scenario.
Oh, my gosh, yes. Yeah, you're advising the right way on that, Ryan, because they are a well-coached, well-put-together club. They're struggling. Yep, they've had their issues, but that still is Mike Vrabel, and I consider him as good as it gets coaching-wise, and especially in clutch situations. He will have, whatever that team looks like at that point, health-wise, quarterback, defense, all the critical areas where they've also had some injury issues. He's going to have them ready. He's going to have them as ready as possible to make the point. And, by no means does he want their season to end with, oh, yeah, we're the team that, punched Jacksonville's ticket to win the division.
And it would be quite a collapse. Look, Tennessee's lost 5 in a row. The Jaguars have won 4 out of 5, but Tennessee can erase all of that if they were to come to Jacksonville and win a week from Sunday. Vic Carucci, Sirius XM NFL Radio. You also see him WGRZ Television in Buffalo. Vic, I know you're busy. Thank you as always, my friend. Have a happy new year. And if the Jaguars do make a playoff run, we'll be dialing your phone next month. Thank you, my friend.
All right, my pleasure. Always happy to join you.
Vic Carucci, always enjoy the conversation with him here on Hacker After Dark, 1010XL, 92.5 FM. The Jaguars getting ready to go to Houston on Sunday. The Jaguar injury report is out. There were no DNPs today. No did not practice, which is a good sign. Trevor Lawrence from a DNP yesterday to limited today. Ross Matisic, the long snapper, a DMP to limited today. Other guys that were limited are Andrew Wingard, Trayvon Walker, Brandon Sheriff, and Foley Fatukasi. I said earlier, I would not play Trayvon Walker on Sunday. I would not play Fatukasi on Sunday against Houston. Those guys have been on the injury report the last couple of weeks. They've missed the last couple of games. With the injury to DeJuan Smoot, you need Walker and Fatukasi as healthy as possible going into Tennessee a week from Sunday. So if that means an extra couple of days of rest and missing the Houston game, so be it, because you would have to imagine with the Titans' issues at quarterback, Derrick Henry might get that ball 35 times next Sunday against the Jaguars. They have got to be ready for Derrick Henry and that Titans running game. Well, that'll just about do it. Thank you to the Frangie Show for letting me hop in here on a special edition of Hacker After Dark. We're about to send you off to Jaguar Happy Hour, also the Doug Peterson Show coming up this afternoon. Hacker After Dark streams every night on the 1010XL YouTube channel and on 1010XL's Twitter page, just right about 8 o'clock each night. Search 1010XL on Twitter or 1010XL on YouTube, and you can watch Hacker After Dark there weeknights on 1010XL and 92.5 FM. We got a ton of people to thank. Again, Vic Carucci of SiriusXM NFL Radio, Kurt Weiler of the Osceola, the Rivals website covering Florida State as they get ready to kick off against Oklahoma in the Cheez-It Bowl coming up in about 90 minutes in hour number 1. Mickey Ryan, 104.5 The Zone up in Nashville, talking about the Titans issues. And, of course, Aaron Wilson gave us the Texans side of things out in Houston as Jacksonville gets ready to travel out to Houston, Texas on Sunday. We'll be back tomorrow night for a Friday night edition of Hacker After Dark. We hope you join us then. For Dylan Denmark, I'm the Hacker Ryan Green. Jacksonville, it's been a pleasure, and we'll talk to you tomorrow night beginning at 9 o'clock. Until then, have a great afternoon. Jaguar Happy Hour coming up next.
I insist on complete honesty.
You can chime in anytime on the 1010XL text line.
Installed by Lifetime Flooring.
If you have something to say to me, I wish you would just say it.
Share your opinion.
Are you nuts?
What?
641-1010.
It's crazy.
Hey, hon, the sink isn't draining well. Kind of makes it sound like this.
What's that sound again? Sounds like hair down the drain.
Mine?
Well, I'm no pro. We should call DuckDuckRooter and make the sound for them.
Right now, for a limited time only, DuckDuckRooter will clear your blockage for just $119. Restrictions apply. Call to schedule 904-862-6769. That's 904-862-6769.
Lauren Brooks here for the Kitchen and Flooring Design Center. You can turn your kitchen into the kitchen of your dreams with a huge selection of Timberlake cabinets. Timberlake cabinets are now offered in a variety of colors, including sage green and navy blue. You've got to see the showroom with these beautiful modern Timberlake cabinets. The Kitchen and Flooring Design Center is located on Southside Boulevard across from Tinseltown, or you can find them online at floorsandkitchen.com. That's the Kitchen and Flooring Design Center.
What's the Anajar Levine difference? When you're injured in a car crash, we focus on your case so you can focus on the one thing that matters most, getting better. I'm Glenn Levine with Anajar Levine. We'll fight to get you the maximum compensation you deserve. Call our legal team right now for a free consultation, 1-800-747-FREE. We'll help you take back control of your life. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
Main office, Jacksonville.
Frank Frangie here for South State Bank, a bank that goes above and beyond to serve you. South State has so many convenient locations to serve you, and now a beautiful newly constructed branch on King Street in Riverside. South State Bank is known for its excellent customer service. They make banking easy. Trust me, I know. And I trust South State Bank for all my banking needs, personal, business, loans, and beyond, and you can too. South State Bank, banking forward. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Get this thing unwrapped here. Dude!